Okay, thank you for your patience. I'm back. This is Matt from Vetter. Right now, it seems like there's only a couple of you, which is good for you. You can then monopolize my time. Uh, I'm going to cover just a quick review of billing, and then in particular, emphasizing the use of the checkout feature to make essentially the things in billing a lot easier to do. Okay, so I'm going to begin with and I've done this. Some of you have already heard me say this, and I say this in my emails. I'm just going to do it again now. Um, it's important to understand conceptually how Vetter views billing. Okay, billing is a place to manage billing. Yes, you can collect payment, right, on any invoice in Vetter, right? That's, hey, I just click to, oh, here's an open invoice. I click on it, and I can collect payments. Not a problem, okay? But it's not meant to check people out, right? And the checkout feature logically goes with where you checked clients in, which is from the schedule. Always think of it, they walk in and check in from the front, and they're going to walk out and, check out from the front too. And we have, at least I'd say, besides Google Cloud Print issues, the majority of our support calls, right, are always, oh, how do I apply a credit, or how do I check somebody out, or I have multiple credits, and every time we find the clinic, when I speak with them, they're like, what checkout feature? We never use it, right? And it's important to use it because it'll make life easier. So if we think of billing as a place where we manage billing, and think of the scheduler as a place to check in and check people out, it will make the process easier. So I'm going to combine the two. I'm going to start with just making an appointment here. Okay. And I'm just going to, pick a appointment, and let me just grab we'll use Homer Simpson and Santa's Little Helper. And I'm just going to check him in quickly with a bundle. Not going to worry about this. Save. And boom, let's check him in. Just want to make sure we have an invoice created for him. Now, remember, when you check people in, always check in with an invoice or an estimate, okay? In fact, I'm gonna do a little something here. You'll see I'm gonna check Homer in. I'm gonna create multiple invoices for him, okay? Just to show you the checkout feature in its full glory. And when you check people in, you can check them in with a medical note and a bundle, or you can always add that later in the room. It's entirely how your clinic flow works. I'm just going to check them in here with a bundle and a medical note, and he's checked in. And I'm going to generate one more invoice here. I want to have multiple invoices for Homer, just to show you the benefits of the checkout feature. Just giving it a moment here. While we check everybody in, create the tasks for the labs and all these things. Okay, now I'm sitting here waiting. Oh, come on. Well, this is odd. I apologize. There we go. I live in San Francisco. I kid you not, the internet here is slow in San Francisco. It's great. Not going to worry about the tasks. And I'm going to come here, and to create another invoice, I'm going to duplicate the appointment. Let's say Homer comes in with a second pet, and which he does have. They have Snowball, the cat, and we're going to check them in and just kind of go through this process again really quickly. And now we have Snowball right here, and I'm going to check Snowball in, And I just want to create, like I said, 2 invoices. So we already have the open one right there for Santa's Little Helper. Another invoice. Here we'll do a medical note. Snowball's a cat, so they'll get a feline wellness exam. Okay. Now we're at the mercy of San Francisco's internet coverage. Give it a moment. It's actually a thing here in San Francisco. Internet connectivity is actually is poor. Go figure, right? Home of technology and such. I'm in my house. That's why it's so bear with me here. As you can see, my internet's not happy. There we go. Just give it a moment. Thank you for your patience. And when they're checked in, we're now then going to jump to checking them out. And that's, I'm going to incorporate the billing module into this. I guess I could kill the time by telling a joke, but probably wouldn't be very funny. I'm sorry. This is very odd. Of course, it wasn't doing this at all until the office hours start. That's life. Well, we got them both checked in. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so now if I go to billing, I will see there are 2 invoices, open invoices right here, sitting for Homer Simpson. Okay. Now let's, in the process here, let's take a look at the other things that can be done I'll cover estimates a little bit, cover that separately, but we can view payment history here or collect payments. We can generate returns, manage credits, generate refunds, and even write off bad debt, and do a simple cash reconciliation if need be. So now, to bring the process together, let's include a return that will show up as a credit for Homer, okay? So and we'll simultaneously have Homer's profile up here. Take a quick look. You see Homer's invoices. His open invoices are these last 2. I want to see if Homer has any credits on his account. He seems to have all his credits have been used, balance is 0, so this should be a good example. And let's just say Homer also, when he comes in for his appointment, says, I need to return something. So we're going to start a return, and we put in the client's name, and come to here. And now the great thing is Vetter's going to remember literally everything Homer's ever bought. So we hit new item, and I'm going to guess and hope, let's say he bought maybe some Hill's food. Yeah, there he is. Okay. Granted from 2016, probably not going to accept that return, but for our demo, it works, and say, wow, okay, we got this. And what it's going to say is it's going to let you return as many. Okay, he bought 20. He can return 20. So say he returns all 20. If you want to restock them, you absolutely can. Probably not going to restock something from 2016. Do we deactivate medical records? Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. It's up to you. And we'll just say he changed his mind, right? What have you. And I'm going to hit save and close. So now the item has been successfully added. Okay, we're talking $60 right here. And you can also, if you want to, double check, hey, what's going on? Is this legit? I can open up the invoice, right, and take a look here. I can see, oh, yeah, he did buy 60 cans here. Boom, 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 right? And hey, that all works out, okay? Come to here. Let's take a look, right? Homer, let's see if there's any returns, right? I can already go ahead and check. Hey, here's that return right there, right? Okay, so everything's working in real time. Jumping back to here, we'll go ahead then and hit post return. Now, the question is do we want to issue a credit or a refund? Now, if you want to give them the money back, go ahead and issue a refund, use your payment processor if it's a credit card thing, and we're good to go. Okay? And I'm going to hit post. Oops. I'm going to choose a credit here on Homer's account. I'm going to hit it has been posted. Credit is there, $335. If I look at Homer's account, let me get rid of the invoice there, and I take a look at credits. Okay, there's $60 right there. Okay, perfect. Now, what a lot of times clinics do is they'll come and they'll want to, hey, let's collect on these invoices for Homer. And we'll open up this invoice here. And perfect. And they'll want to go ahead and collect payment. And let's go ahead and collect a payment. But notice it's just collecting payment on one invoice. Okay? It's not collecting on multiple. Because you see account balance 714, and it's like, well, why is it only, you have to click again. Let's include both invoices, right? And the other thing here, it doesn't apply the credits, right? So the credits can't be applied in one screen. If I want to apply the credit, I first have to come to here and then say, I'm going to view the credit here, and now go ahead and apply the credit, right? And I've applied the credit now, as you notice here, $60 taken off of this invoice, thus reducing the balance of the invoice from $312 to $252, right? Leaving a total account balance of $717, okay? And I'm going to undo the credit because these are multiple steps. I'm just going to undo this credit now. So it's back, right? Now, what if we went to the schedule instead? And I come to the schedule, and I come to here, and I'm going to check out, right? Boom. And I can access that to the clinic census. The nice thing about the checkout feature is it's going to list all the invoices and all the credits at once. You don't want to apply the credit, Homer Simpson? No problem, right? Notice it changes the total due. Or I can add it. This is much easier than individually, right? Managing invoices and combining them, right? And the nice thing, of course, also with the checkout feature is here. Okay, I'm just going to say let's collect, we do this Visa, let's just say. And I can also, generate any paperwork from today, right? If there were any vaccines involved, a vaccine certificate, or if it was just a rabies by itself, reminder summary, the medical note, if I wanted to include it, and if I included any letters in the appointment, they'd be available right here at checkout too. This is the key advantage. I am checking out now 2 separate patients, right? Santa's Little Helper and Snowball. I'm applying a credit, and I'm including all of the necessary paperwork. And Vetter's letting me know I didn't add a tag number at the time of checkout, so I can always add the tag number now for the rabies certificate. I can just also hit a space bar just to make it go away to satisfy an entry for that space. And I go ahead now and I hit, I would email it. Imagine telling the clients, please check your phone 30 seconds after you leave. All your paperwork will be there. I'm going to print it though, so you can see it. And now, instead of having done this in the billing part, I have with one click collected payment for 2 separate patients, 2 separate invoices, applied a credit, and generated all of the important paperwork, right? And voila, hey, this is cool. Here's our paid invoices, right? Medical note here, So it's nice in that regard, okay? It's going to do those things for you, okay? That being the idea. And also, I could do the exact same thing. I could do the checkout right here, right? This is for Santa's Little Helper, right? And I've already paid everything off. I paid off both invoices in the other account, right? When I checked out Snowball. And here I could just go ahead and say, well, let's go ahead and also give you the paperwork too, right? For, Santa's Little Helper here. Oh, and he happens to be in a wellness plan too. I had him enrolled in a wellness plan. And so now I notice there's no invoice, no credits, no problem. But now I can also, right, include the paperwork for Santa's Little Helper. And you've got that taken care of right there. Had I done this in billing, it would have been far more complex, right? And here's all the paperwork for Santa's Little Helper. Okay. Now, jumping back to billing, if I want to check things out, let me get rid of these guys up here, is, hey, want to take a look at payments? There they are, right? Here's Homer. Here are the payments. Boom. Take a look at the credits. Oh, this was the credit. Balance on the credit is 0. Okay. And one thing while we're in credits, good thing to take note of, credits can be generated right via return, or they can be generated for other reasons. Maybe there was a bad customer experience and you want to give them a credit for poor Jimmy Garoppolo, my Niner quarterback, out for the season. We give him a credit for, maybe he referred clients to us, or it was a promotional effort, or client relations. And I can issue credits this way too, right? It can be part of a return where you say, sorry, we don't, like for example, food. We'll take it as a return, but we only issue you a credit. Or it can be done, right, individually like this. Now, if you notice when you take a look at credits here, where the balance is greater than 0, right, there's a gear icon. The gear icon gives us an opportunity, right, to edit the credit, convert it to a refund, delete, or what have you, okay? If the credit was part of, right, an invoice that had already, if the credit was part of an invoice against which a payment had already been taken, and let's say the credit hadn't been applied, so there's a credit sitting on an invoice, and the credit wasn't applied, but there was payment taken on the invoice. Unfortunately, you're not able to delete the credit, and this is one area where Vetter is going to improve, because right now what happens is clinics call us and say, hey, can you delete credit 327? It applied it inadvertently or what have you. And engineering does that, not a problem, but we should give you the option to delete credits like right here. It wasn't connected to an invoice that had a payment, right, generated against it. So I could still delete it, but if you notice the others here, it's just convert to refund or edit credit. We are adding a feature to allow clinics to delete any credit they so choose. And originally we didn't do that because clinics asked us, as for security reasons, not to give staff the ability to delete credits, because that can obviously lead to shenanigans, for want of a better word. But it is become clear to us, it's better to let clinics manage this themselves, because it saves you the effort of, going, let's say you're auditing your accounts and looking back, and you look at this from 2017 here, or here 2017 here. Hey, why, this one I can delete because this is, I guess, never been collected, right? There wasn't a payment generated. Here I can delete this one, but here I can't, right? On some of these I can delete, great. And some, though, you're not able to delete. And it's always kind of like this one. Why can't I delete that? Well, it was part of a payment. And it is at times inconsistent what can be deleted and what can't. And so this is when clinics call us and say, hey, look at this old invoice or whatever, credit from February. Can we delete this? And then we do it manually for them. Okay. I'm going to pause quickly. I can't, for whatever reason, see my chat box. So if there are any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and just ask me directly. I am having trouble with my chat box here, and I can't seem to be able to open it up. It won't show me any questions if you've been... So please feel free to unmute yourself and ask if you wish. Now, last thing to cover here under billing is we took a look at what refunds are, right? And refunds, of course, are generated as a result of a return. Then finally, we have write-offs. And write-offs are, could be basically bad debt. And I come to here, let's just say, let's say Clay Thompson, and he has this invoice, like, my gosh, he's never going to pay this. He skipped town, right? And you could just say bad debt. And at the very least, this is recorded for your tax purposes where you can write things off against your taxes, okay? And then finally, we have cash, where if you want to do cash reconciliation, very simply, what are you starting the day off with and what are you ending? Now, if I start the day off with, 200 and I end with 150, okay, I should, at the very least then, show cash sales in my reports, right? So I look at my daily transaction balance. Oops, I think I made a mistake there. I think I made a mistake on my cash reconciliation. Yeah, starting balance at 20. Sorry about that. And I'll come to here. There we go. Much better. And this, I should show that, right, essentially there were cash sales, and I can always reconcile this then against billing reports here, right? Daily cash reconciliation. It's going to select what's nice here, right? It's going to show any cash transactions I made. So if I collected an invoice and I collected, whatever, $300, invoice was, $250, and change would then be $50. This would show on here, thus reconciling, right, the cash reconciliation statement for the day. So the last thing I'm going to take a look at here is estimates. And again, you can check clients in with an estimate, right? And once you convert that estimate, it becomes an invoice for that day's appointment, okay? And I'll make a simple estimate here, and let's use poor old Jimmy Garoppolo and his dog Niner, and I'm going to choose a surgical procedure bundle for which the estimate would make sense, and I'm going to save it. Oh, no. I wanted to put, I wanted to put ranges in there. So let me put ranges in here really quickly. Let's edit that item and say, hey, the surgery, it could take 1 hour for $280, or it could go as high as 2 hours, right? And it's going to show the range here, right, from 280 to 560. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to add a new inventory item. I'm just going to edit what I have here. And then maybe let's say anesthesia time could have a high-low range, maybe 15 minutes to 30 minutes, right? Something along those lines, okay? And what have you, boom. And so now the range is 480 to 910. And I showed to the client, hey, it's going to be somewhere in between. The client has a chance to approve the estimate, and they can, again, if they have a tablet, they can just use their fingertip. They can do I call the old Etch-a-Sketch here, draw it. Or, right, you can go ahead and, bad. Or I could type it too, make it easier. But here, now it's approved, and it will sit in the client account. And I'm going to go ahead and I convert this to an invoice. Now you say, hey, what if I only use maybe an hour and a half, or I use only 20 minutes? Not a problem. We can always edit the invoice at the end. The whole point is you want to cover the range. And I always say, always apply the high range, because, well, when you come under, clients are going to love you. It's that simple. Do I want to create a medical note and medical records? I'm not going to create a note for this, and I'll create medical records. Sure, I hit convert. And now it becomes an invoice. And now if you still need to edit this, you absolutely can do this, okay? and I'm going to come to here, and let's just say, gosh, the surgery only took an hour and a half. Good news, Mr. Garoppolo. You get to pay less. So I say 1.5, right? And we'll hit save and done. And, now notice instead of $560, it's $420. The same thing with the anesthesia. Hey, good news. We only used, 25 minutes of anesthesia. But I'll save $50, and that's a good thing. And now I can collect, right, if I wanted to, I could collect payment on this. I have credits right here, right? But again, had I checked them in with the estimate and converted to the invoice, it would be much easier to manage the credits through the checkout feature. Yes, I can manage them here. I can add the credits if need be, but it'd be much easier to do like I showed you earlier from the checkout feature. Okay, that's a quick kind of surfing, through billing tour. I'm going to see if you have any questions, again, please unmute yourself and just go ahead and ask. Other than that, again, please spread the word. Use the checkout feature. And again, it can be done from directly like I did by hovering over the appointment. Here's the appointment right here that's open. I could check it out. Or I can always do it from the clinic census. Same opportunity. Here's this appointment right here my colleague made for Einstein. And I can write status, checked out, right? Does this look familiar? And I can go ahead and assign, the same, fill out all the forms and fields the same way I did before. It's just, we always want to provide multiple ways to solve a situation. Some clinics like the census, some prefer to do it just from the schedule. Okay. Unless there are any other questions, I thank everybody for their time. The session has been recorded and it will be posted in the customer community later today. Thank you very much. Again, this is Matt with Vetter Software, and I wish you all a great rest of the day. Take care. Bye-bye.